Hello my friends, I'm Duchess and welcome to my YouTube channel. The other week I uploaded a video of my OC Sielle Starstone and drew her in 10 different Webtoon art styles, and it was super exciting, so I decided to do another one. I'm going to be drawing my other OC and MC, Hayden in 10 different Webtoon styles. Let's get started. I'm using the same template and styles as I did for Sielle, so here it is. If you didn't know already, I'm a Webtoon canvas creator and I make this Webtoon called The Unexpected Enchantress, so check that out. The link is in the description below. My Webtoon is a fantasy and drama genre with a sprinkle of romance. Anyway, Hayden is one of my main characters from the Webtoon, and he's a very dear OC of mine. I created him based off of personalities and traits that I like. He's not my ideal type or anything, but he's what I would find admirable in male characters in books and webtoons. He hasn't been introduced in my webtoon yet, so I'm not going to give too much away. If you follow along in my webtoon, you'll see him soon. Anyway, the True Beauty webtoon art style was up first because it was probably going to be the most difficult, and it was. I think that's probably because my reference picture was a super high quality rendered panel of Suho. In webtoons, they have the regular drawings, but for special moments or important parts, they spend extra time on the drawing to make it look even better. And this picture of Suho is one of those. I think it's called a beauty shot, but I'm not really sure. Hayden in this style took forever, and I couldn't help but feel like he looks like he got too much plastic surgery. The next art style was Olympus. The reference for this version was Hades because they're both kind of big and buff. Last time I did this, I had trouble with the art style because of the textures and line art, but this time I did much better. I spent more time finding the right brush, and I was able to imitate the art style more accurately. I also found a good brush for shading, so it has the same texture as Olympus. Inking in the Olympus style was quite fun. I think drawing in other styles is interesting, and it also makes you think about what kind of art style you want to have. Hayden has dark brown hair, so his skin tone was also the same color, but he looks a bit dead, maybe because the brown is so dark and dull, but overall I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Eternal Nocturnal is next. I love this art style so much. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the author is also a brilliant writer, and she's amazing at creating webtoons. I was really excited to draw Hayden in this art style because I wanted to make him really handsome, basically. My reference was Day, of course, because who else would it be? Drawing the face was the best part of this art style. I love the thick lines and how the brows are just thick and black. For some reason, the Eternal Nocturnal webtoon art style didn't take me too long compared to some of the others, but I'm still super pleased with the result. Edith is the next art style. I had some difficulty with the line art because it's very loosely drawn and not exactly the cleanest. I think drawing the face was the most difficult part because he didn't look quite right. After coloring and some light rendering, I was done, but I kind of felt like he didn't look exactly like he was from Edith's world. I'm not sure, but I did my best, so I'm not too unhappy. The Remarried Empress art style is up. I know I always say that I was excited to draw in that art style, but I was even more excited to draw in this art style. Honestly, the men in this webtoon are so gorgeous, and the way that they're drawn is just beautiful. Even Sophie shoot. I really wanted to make Hayden look super handsome in this art style. The reference was a picture of Duke Urgi since their hairstyles are pretty similar. I think these two would be good friends if Hayden was a part of the Remarried Empress webtoon. Of these 10 webtoons, Hayden and Sielle come from a world most similar to the Remarried Empress, so it was nice to draw them in this style. So far, Hayden has been wearing a reddish button-up, but I needed to make it a little bit more fancy for this webtoon style because the Remarried Empress has extravagant clothing. Wow, I am so thrilled with the completed drawing in this version. He looks so good. I am so happy with how this version turned out. The next style is the down-to-earth art style. If Cade was not antisocial, these two would probably get along really well. My reference was actually a screenshot of Stace, who is Cade's boss, because Hayden doesn't have a beard, and I just thought Stace looked more like Hayden than anyone else in the webtoon. As usual, sketching and inking wasn't too bad and took a short amount of time. Coloring and rendering also took me very little time. I actually drew most of these art styles in one sitting, and most of them took a maximum of 30 minutes, while some others took me an hour or more. I'm sure you could guess which art styles those were. After I was done, I looked at my drawing and thought it was a tiny bit off. Maybe Hayden's head should have been bigger, but overall, I think I imitated the style pretty decently. Let's Play was the next style. I used a screenshot of Marshall as a reference for this one. As usual, the drawing process for this art style was really easy and it didn't take me long at all. The art was really satisfying to make for some reason, maybe because of how straight or clean the line art is. Actually, all of these art styles have really satisfying line art, and it feels really good to look at the line art when it's finished. I think I should work on my own because I'm kind of inconsistent with my line art. Anyway, you might have noticed that Hayden is literally wearing the same thing in each of these styles, and there's a reason for that. In my last video, Sielle was the OC that I drew in these same styles, but her clothes actually changed quite a bit for each webtoon. Sielle's more open and she has a wilder and a freer personality, so her clothing style changed in each webtoon style depending on the webtoon that it was. For Hayden, however, I feel like he's more constant as compared to Sielle, so in every webtoon he would be wearing the same style no matter what. The kiss bet was next. I was really excited to draw Hayden in this art style because I liked imagining him and Sielle in the kiss bet as students. Hayden is actually 21 in my webtoon and Sielle is 19, so it's fun to think of them as high school students. Hayden would definitely be a model student that the other students would find super intimidating, even though he's actually not that scary. For the line art, I used a slightly different brush to get that texture that the kiss bet has, and I also colored the line art a dark brown instead of black. Things were going smoothly until I reached his face. Unfortunately, I struggled terribly on it and spent a good 30 minutes trying to make Hayden not look like he was crazy. The kiss bet art style has really big eyes, but the actual pupil and iris are so small. So I did that for Hayden, but he kept looking like he was crazed, and I didn't understand why because I did the same thing for Sielle, but she didn't look like she was crazy, so I don't know. I finally got it to look okay, so I just left it at that. Hopefully he doesn't look crazy still. Let me know down in the comments below if you think he looks a bit insane. The four of them was the next art style I was going to draw Hayden in. The four of them has a very unique art style, so it was pretty exciting to draw Hayden in it. This art style has a bit of texture as well, so I used a different art brush. This style doesn't have much rendering, so I think this version took me about 30 minutes or less. Seasons of Blossom is the last style. Hayden would also be a student here, and it was interesting drawing him in this cute anime-like style. This was also an art style that didn't take me too long, which was nice. The sketching and line art was really straightforward and the coloring was fast. I actually sketched out my OCs in a high school AU, which means alternate universe, because I thought it'd be interesting if they were in high school. Hayden and Sielle would probably get along well because they're both really smart, but Sielle would be one of those kids who are a bit rowdy and carefree. And then Hayden is probably that one student who's like, oh, you forgot to collect the homework, you know, when everybody else was trying not to remind the teacher that there was homework in the first place. Well, here's the finished product. Even though some of these styles were a bit off, I think I did pretty well and I'm quite satisfied with how these turned out. I actually had tons of fun doing this art challenge and I will probably be doing more, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see the last art challenge I did with my OC Sielle, then click the top right to see that video. If you found it entertaining, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notified. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you next week.